So our opponents are mentioning, I said, several disadvantages and responsibilities to our proposal, but they say that one of the things that Jenny said is that boys do better in co-ed schools and girls tend to do better in single-sex schools. There's a study which was published in the United Kingdom. No American newspaper has had like, I don't know, like been brave to enough to publish it in America, but it says that it's called "In a Class of Their Own, Boys Benefit Even More Than Girls from Single-Sex Schools." A-level grade study on this. The substantiated mythology of the educational establishment has been that girls do better in single-sex schools, but the boys are brought on by the more studious girls in a co-educational environment. This mythology has never been supported by any objective evidence, and any policy derived from it must presumably sacrifice advantages to one sex in order to promote the cause of the other. Our results suggest that single-sex schools give an even greater academic advantage to boys than for girls. This directly contradicts the popular educational myth that boys do better in the classroom if girls are present to set them as an example. One could reasonably conclude from this study that both boys and girls are academically disadvantaged in co-educational schools, but the disadvantage is greater for the boys. Also, she talked about homosexuality in single-sex schools, and I also found that there was another study made by Neville Cruz and Kathleen Sanders, and it's called "Incidence and Duration of Romantic Attraction in Students Progressing from Secondary or Tertiary Education," and they tested a hypothesis saying that the students in single-sex schools were not involved as in heterosexual relationships as much as in the girls in co-ed schools. And this study and their hypothesis was false because they found that the girls and boys at single-sex schools were more likely to be involved in romantic relationships outside of their school. The quote says, "This view was supported by only 2 of 8 possible comparisons, and the trending for the comparisons was in the opposite direction. Students at single-sex schools were more likely to be involved in romantic relationships. Though it would seem that students from single-sex schools are not noticeably thwarted by any lack of opportunity or experience in the single-sex school system from experiencing romantic episodes, either at school or later in their early university years." There's also another study regarding the romantic relationships in single-sex schools, and this one is by Anthony Pellegrini, and it's called "Bullying, Victimizing, and Sexual Harassment During the Transition to Middle School." And it says, "Studies demonstrate that when 15 and 16-year-olds at co-ed schools form romantic relationships, they do so less on the basis of individual characteristics and more on the basis of where the teenager stands in the clique. The most popular boy in the group goes out with the most popular girl. The second most popular boy goes out with the second most popular girl, and down the line, with the least popular boy paired with the least popular girl. Sexual relationships in this age group, far from involving intimate personal connection, instead appear to be more of an exercise in role-playing." Well, like most of another like very general point that she made is that single-sex schools just don't work, and there was a study in the University of Florida that showed that the boys in co-ed classes scored in the proficiency test of the state that boys in co-ed classes scored 37%, girls scored 59%, and when they were placed to single-sex classrooms, the boys scored 86% and the girls scored 75%. So the numbers don't lie.